Hello and welcome to today's live stream. Just gonna get my camera in place. Get all set up here. All right. So first things first, I wanted to show off Braxton from last week. Hi, Jessica. So this is the little bunny rabbit that we made last week. And his name is Braxton. I did do a quick look video on Monday of him, but I wanted to show him again, and I'm going to start doing that as kind of the theme of the start of the new live stream, showing off the previous one. Hi, April. Hi, Heather. So there's little Braxton. I did gloss the nose and the eyes. Hi, Jesse. Jesse says rabbit or rabid. Yeah, Braxton's a little good combination of both. And April's getting Subway. Nice. So that's the monster we made last week. Now I'm getting ready to start on today's. So I'll set Braxton aside. So I had this clay mixed up last week. I gave my viewers two choices. They could either do a rabbit or an egg, and obviously they chose rabbit. So I still have the colors mixed up that I was going to use for the egg, but I don't want to do an egg, but we'll do some kind of monster using this mixture of pearl and rose white gold glitter, I believe. It's a Primo accent color, so it's got sparklies and shinies in it. Hello, Brandy. How are you? So I'm going to start off with a basic kind of ball shape with a foil. And you guys can let me know what kind of monster you want me to make today. But I figured I'm going to start building something up here. I did try to soften this up a little bit, but I didn't want to mix it too much yet. So it's going to be a little bit firm to work with since I mixed it up last week. But hopefully it doesn't take too long to get going. Anybody have any input on what kind of monster they want to see today? Heather Alston wants a sad monster. Okay. We can do that. All right. I have a basic idea in mind for kind of a head body all in one thing. I might add just a little bit more foil. Jesse says mushroom. So we could do a sad mushroom monster. Perfect. All right. So that'll be our basic like mushroom stem. Soften this up to go around that. Hello, A2 Hyper underscore YT. I'm just going to call you A2 Hyper. Hopefully everybody's doing well today. I've been working on a lot of projects behind the scenes. I'm working on 3 different edited videos right now. So there'll be one up tomorrow, And then I have one almost ready for Thursday, and then the one after that will be on the following Monday. I like getting ahead and having that much done, but it's also a little confusing when sorting out all the video, because I filmed different segments for them all. I do put them in folders on my iPad, but still a lot of stuff to keep track of. This should work. I'm going to have to bring it around some and trim some of this off. Heather says, excited to see what you've been doing. Thank you. And for those who prefer the live streams, I'll also have a live stream this week on Wednesday at 8 p.m. Central Time. Heather asks, when you crush the foil, how tightly do you crush it? Kind of depends on the project I'm doing and what kind of shape. If I want it to be really smooth, you have to crush it really tight. This is probably tighter than what I want it to be because I kind of rolled it out to do the stem shape. But I try not to do it too much, so if I want to do like the eye sockets, I can push it in with a ball tool and not have to worry about, you know, like still having some give to it. And what's nice about these Reynolds sheets is if you crush it really tight and roll it, it'll get really smooth. So, I mean, you can put the clay over it without worrying about getting that texture from the foil. One of the projects that I worked on that I have coming up on Thursday, it's out of Warbler, and I used some foil, and I wanted it to be loose because it's like torn up dirt, and so having the foil loose and then heating up the Warbler and having it drape over it actually worked out really well to give me the look I was going for. Hello, P-Stuff, how are you? So those of you who are just coming on, we have determined that we're going to make a sad mushroom monster. Just rolling out the basic shape. Now, the next question is, so we know it's going to be sad, it's going to be a mushroom monster. I'm not going to worry about doing the top part until I get this all done. So I'm going to do the face on the base here, unless you guys want the face on the hood. I don't know what else to call that. It's probably got a name. Okay, Heather says on the base. Perfect, that's what I was thinking. So how many eyes do we want it to have? In my personal opinion, 2 would work the best to make it look sad, because I could put the eyelids on at an angle. If I have more or less than that, I don't know if it's going to have that look with the eyes. I can still do it with the mouth. Jesse says 2. All right, so we're going 2 eyes. Heather says 2. Just grabbed a couple eyes at random there, approximately the same size. So I'm just going to do an indentation in here for both the eyes. I'm putting so much pressure on there, it's going to flatten that back a little bit, but I'll round that out and kind of smooth it a bit. And I want these eyes to go in a little bit deeper, just so I have that room to put that eyelid over it and not have it sticking out too far. He's definitely got a look to him. So I'm going to make a couple eyelids to give them that sad expression. I'm trying to pull these down a little bit. I don't want to cover up the pupils when I do the eyelids. So I'm going to see if I can have them looking down, maybe a little bit lower. if I'm really accomplishing what I'm trying to do here, since they're, kind of in the center. Sorry, I'm moving my mic here. All right, so let's soften up a little bit of clay for the eyelids. So usually when I do like sad eyes on characters like this, I'll roll out a circle. And this is way too much clay. So I've got my clay ball, and then I'm going to roll out a circle. Now I'm just going to cut that in half. So if you angle them in so it's lower in the middle, it's going to look mad. And then you do it kind of, angle it down more on the outside, he's going to look sad. He definitely looks worried. Poor guy. So I'll smooth these in, but I'll bring it up so you can get a good look at how he's looking. So now I'm just taking my ball tool and smoothing the edges. Heather says I like it, thank you. Get this nice and smooth. Blend it in so it kind of looks like it's all one piece. All right, I'm going to add just a little bit of indentation around that edge of that eyelid, just to add a little more detail to it. So are we wanting this guy to have any teeth? And I'll definitely give him a frown, but I could even give him a, one or two little teeth sticking out and then frown his mouth around it. So I'll bring this up to the camera and get a better look how it is. Jesse says maybe one. Heather says, what about a bottom tooth? I could give him, you want to do one big bottom tooth and then kind of frown it around it? Frown it around it. So these are my teeth. Let's see which one that I think is calling to me. A flat one, all right. So kind of like that. Heather says, yeah, perfect. All right, so now we're going to take a little bit of clay and build up his mouth. Jesse loves it. Awesome. While I'm doing this, does anybody else have any input on things they'd like to see added to this guy? It's not really taking too long so far. now I'm just going to take my finger and smooth this in. And I really vary on whether I use my finger, a ball tool, silicone tool, or whatever to smooth clay in. I just kind of go with, you know, what seems right at the time. And if I start doing one thing and it's not working, I'll switch to something else. He's got a nice thickness to that lower lip, that pouty lip. I've kind of tilted his top of his head because I want to add that mushroom top to it. I feel like that should be a different color or mix another color in here, but I don't know what. All right. So now I'm just going to add some texture to his lip, give him some little ridges. Get a little more detail on this guy. Hi, Ms. Ms. says, hi, everybody. Just popped in a few minutes as I'm working on a line with poor reception tonight. Oh, well, thank you for stopping in. I appreciate it. Making a little sad mushroom monster today. All right. So that's what we have so far for our base of our sad mushroom monster. Any input on what we'd like to see added to this guy before I add his top? Ms. says that sounds both sad and sweet. I think his chin's sticking out far enough. He needs a little chin butt. Just gotta do a little indentation there. All right. So I'm gonna need to do this top. We'll start working on that until I get any other input from anybody. I'm just getting my basic mushroom top shape sculpted out of the foil. I don't want to do it too big, but I also don't want it too small. You got to find that happy medium in there to see what looks good on this guy. Like that, or should we go bigger? I think maybe a little bit, ball it up more on the top, maybe. A bit more of a Smurf house shape. It says the clay makes it bigger too, right? Yes, yeah. I won't go too thin on it, so it'll definitely bulk it up some. So I've got that piece added to the top, and I'm just taking a piece of foil to kind of keep everything together until I put the clay on it. All right, are we thinking we like that? Bring them up there. Ms. says that a raised front or a smaller hat would be needed to see his face. I think if I could raise this up a little bit, angle it down a little bit in the back. I don't know which way I had this. There it is. Okay. Yeah, I've got it tilted some back here to kind of pull it up there, Heather. So yeah, I got that on there. I think that'll work. Are we wanting to go with this color still, or do we want me to get out something else? Or mix something with this to darken it or lighten it, give it a different contrast? I'm going to soften this up for now. Ms. says, bummer, departure time. I'll catch this later. Bye. Bye, Ms. Thanks for stopping in. Heather says you could always contrast the bottom as in under side of the top. Oh, okay, yeah. So what should we do with that? Let's see if I have something to mix in with it. I have this clay here. Can mix in, make it a little bit lighter. I have a bunch of like partial blocks and I don't have exactly what I want. Then I'll start with the top and then I'll do something for the bottom. And then maybe we'll want to add some spots or some spikes or something to the top of it. Just have to let me know. Just working this out into a nice round shape to cover that top. Just pushing this over the foil, pulling it down a bit. Jessica says spots would be cool. All right. You'll have to let me know what color of spots you think would look good with this. And I'll see if I've got that available. Well, there's the underside of it, but I'm going to go ahead and mix up a lighter one. Hi, Tori. How are you? Making a sad mushroom monster this week. I want to tilt that head just a little bit more. Tori is good. Glad to hear it. So I'm going to mix some clay together for this. Tori, I'm doing good. I'm having fun making this little sad mushroom monster. Easy for me to say. And so today, the viewers have decided to do a sad mushroom monster. We gave him, kind of slanted his eye or his eyebrow or his eyelids a little bit. Gave him one tooth and this kind of pouty lower lip. And I went ahead, since his chin was sticking out, gave him a little bit of a butt chin. Now I'm just mixing up some of my base clay with some lighter clay to lighten it up for the underside of his mushroom hat. So I think that's a good mixture. We'll get this applied, see if I have enough to cover that. Tori says, oh cool, but if we talk about foods, I hate mushrooms. I hate them as food as well, so I totally get that. But I've sculpted a lot of different little mushroom characters or things before, and they're a fun thing to sculpt. I always enjoyed the Smurfs when I was younger, watching the Smurfs cartoon. I had some of the figures. And so they always lived in those little mushroom houses. So I always thought that was cool. I'm going to roll this out a little bit. Use a little plastic roller. I do have like the pasta maker thing too, but I don't really like using it. It does work nice if you want the clay an exact thickness. Other than that, if I just want to make it thinner, I'll just use the hand roller. You can see that spread it out quite a bit. So I think I will tuck that in around the foil and then bring this other clay over it. Now I'm just smoothing it in here to get it to bond with that top clay. Jessica, did you have an idea of what color you wanted those spots to be on our little guy? I don't even know what was the front now, so I'm just going to put it on. Kind of go from there. Jessica says red or pink. Yeah, I could definitely just mix up some red ones. I think that would have a more of a contrast with this. Sure, I have an open block of red to work with. So there's what we have so far. I'm going to add some texture in here. I think that would look good. I've seen like a lot of mushrooms have little indentions in there, so I'll do that. And then I'll do the spots. So, I want to use a ball tool, but I don't know if this one's... Maybe this will work. It'll be thick enough. It might be too thick. Just thought this would add some detail to it. a lot easier to do it this way. Just hold him upside down and kind of rotate him as I add these. Jesse says he reminds me of Jed Clampert, such a fun guy. Fun guy. Clampett. Tori says this guy reminds me from a Disney movie, but I can't remember the name. Yeah, I'm not for sure. I know lots of times I'll make something, I'm like, oh, this reminds me of something. I think when you do a lot of characters, and and I like watching a lot of animation and fantasy movies and monster movies, and you kind of get inspiration from everywhere. And even though I don't necessarily want to, copy off something, you can't help but have that inspiration carry through to your artwork. Jesse says Jed was from the Beverly Hillbillies for the kids. Jesse, that's one show I never really got into. Not for sure why. I like a lot of shows that are, even older than it, but I just never got into that one. I never really got into Green Acres. Yeah, I remember the characters. Jesse says Granny was fierce. Heather says I love both those. Probably my favorite as far as old shows, ones that I would rewatch now, are like Leave It to Beaver, Andy Griffith Show. Like I watched Brady Bunch a lot when I was a kid, but I don't think I would rewatch it if it showed up on Netflix. I also liked Happy Days. I haven't seen that forever. I don't know if that's on anything. I watched Mr. Ed occasionally. Heather says Mr. Ed. Kind of like how I'm doing these indentions now than when I started, so I might kind of do another lap around it, or partial lap. They're a lot tighter, a lot less even. Definitely a lot tighter. Jessica says I Love Lucy is my favorite old show. That's definitely, as far as I know, my sister's favorite old show. In fact, I made her a magnet one year of that title screen, and I made like a little TV out of clay and added her like the intro text on that one. All right, so there's the underside. And it's got these little specks of clay. I'm going to clean those off after it bakes. I don't want to mess with that right now and mess something up. I think I might pull it out a little bit farther in spots. Hi, Claire's Crafty Corner. How are you? Since you're just coming on, we got a few more people on. I'll show you what we've done so far. So the viewers wanted a sad mushroom monster. I'm going to bring him up. I was reading the chat. Heather says, okay, my phone's going to die. I look forward to seeing how he turns out. Bye, Andrew. Bye, Heather. Claire says she's good. Tori says the face is like me in the morning. Claire says I love it. Thank you. Yeah, so we're doing a sad mushroom monster. We decided on one tooth, and I went ahead and did a little butt chin. Mixed up some lighter clay for the underside, added a lot of little grooves for some texture. And then Jessica wants them to have some spots, and we decided on some red or pink spots. So I think I've got some red clay open. So I'm going to get that out and soften that up and add some spots to this guy. So let me see what I've got. So I've got this red Primo here. Not a dark red, just kind of a regular medium red. I'm gonna clean my hands just a little bit. Usually I don't have too much worry about stuff transferring to the red, it's the other way around. Make a lot of noise and get this done. All right. So I'm just going to cut off a little section to soften up. Get the clay nice and soft, and then I'll roll out probably a snake, cut it up into sections, roll out some balls that I can use for my spots. Hey Delaney, how are you? Making a sad mushroom monster today. Delaney's doing good. Delaney, I am doing great. Been busy today. So I'm going to roll out kind of a little bit thicker snake here. Just cut off. I'm not worried about them being the same size. Little sections I can use for some random spots. Delaney says, yeah, I had an exam and work in an hour and a half, so pretty busy here. Understandable. So I'm just rounding these out a bit before I squish them down into the shapes for the spots, and then I'll add them to the top of our mushroom guy. Claire's Crafty Corner says, Andrew, do you use the craft blade for most of the cutting? What about bigger pieces? Yeah, I just mainly use an X-Acto knife, and if it's a bigger piece, you know, I'll just cut around. I do have like that long blade, but it's so sharp, I kind of get myself into trouble with it because it doesn't really have a handle like the X-Acto knife. You have to hold, I mean, it's got like a little sleeve that you attach to it. I don't really like it. Other than that, I haven't really had any issues, you know, with anything being too big to use the X-Acto knife on if I go around. Most of the time, I mean, if it's a really big piece, I'll just tear it apart and then kind of reshape it how I need it. My main tools are the X-Acto knife, some sort of ball tool, and then like a needle tool. And I have like tons of different sizes of ball tools. I also have some rubber tip silicone tools that I'll use for blending sometimes. So I'm just spreading these out, adding our little spots. I'm trying to just kind of put them on randomly. Do those look too big? Or about right? Bring them up. Get them off camera there. You guys can let me know if you want me to continue with that size. Looks great, thank you. All right, so I'm going to continue with that size. Jessica says looks okay to me, perfect. I'll just keep working on this, going around. It's kind of flopping on me here. I get one at the top here. Got a little bit of a smaller one. I'm going to work that in back here. This one kind of tore a little bit, so I'm going to re-sculpt it. I want it to have a nice smooth edge. I'm going to cut this one in half. I kind of want to put a smaller one. That gap there looks a little too much of a gap, but not big enough to put one of the bigger ones. Get the rest of the back filled in here. Claire says a couple of tiny ones. Can I mix them in there, Claire, in some of the bigger gaps? That's what I'm thinking. Get it to stick. Perfect. You can see how much dye is in these red ones. I mean, it comes right off and just pressing it down in that wax paper. This one a little closer to the edge. Notice some darker spots here on my table. I've been working with some Warbler and I've kind of burned my work area. Another smaller one up here. I've got a couple bigger ones I'm going to put towards the back here. I've got a lot of space back here still. And while I'm finishing this up, you guys can let me know if there's anything else we want to do to this guy, or is this going to be it? He's got a speck of something right here, so we're gonna get that out. Use my ball tool to just smooth that down a little bit. Touch it up with my finger. See a lot of red already on those fingers. I've got a little bit of red left, so I'll just go ahead and make a little spot for back here. All right, so I'm gonna clean up my hands since I'm done with that red. And you guys can let me know if there's anything else you want me to add to him. And I'll bring him up to the camera so you can see how he looks. He didn't take very long at all. All right, I think I'm safe to pick him up. Hello, Knick-Knack. This is looking cool, thank you. So I'm bringing him up to the camera so everybody can get a good look at him. So it's a sad mushroom monster. A2 Hyper says, is it going to have teeth? Yes, we added a tooth earlier. Hi, Dree. Dree says, I just got in. Yeah, we're about done with this guy. I just need to figure out if anybody wants me to add anything else. So it's our sad mushroom monster. He's got two eyes. Wanted to make him sad. Add the tooth. Gave him a kind of a thick lower lip. Add some texture there. And then I textured the inside underneath. And then we decided to add some red spots to him. Dree says he's super cool, thank you. Claire's Crafty Corner says he is perfect. Thank you. Dree says nice lip. Thank you. Gonna let everybody see him there. Well, I'm really happy with him. I don't see anything we need to add to him. So I appreciate everybody stopping in. I will have a live stream on Wednesday this week at 8 p.m. Central Time. Knick-Knack says, perfect addition to anyone's melancholy Smurf collection. Absolutely. Andrew says, I'll watch the stream back ASAP. Thank you. Claire says, thanks, Andrew. Sorry for the lateness. No worries. And if you want to see what this guy looks like after he's baked, I'll gloss his eyes. I will have him in the next Let's Make a Monster live stream next Sunday. So I'm going to start doing that at the beginning of every one of those to see the previous one. Also, tomorrow I will have a brand new edited video up on my channel, and I've got another edited video planned for Thursday. So if you haven't already done so, be sure to subscribe to my channel and make sure those notifications are turned on. Claire says, night all, night Claire. Dree says, hope you're all good. I'm doing great. Thank you, Dree. I hope you guys are doing good. Hope everybody is staying safe and healthy during these crazy times. All right, well, thank you for watching. Thanks, Brandy. Brandy says, looks great. Greatly appreciate everybody coming on today. This was a lot of fun. Kind of a little bit of a different monster for me. All right, good day, good night. Everybody stay safe and happy and healthy. And remember, never stop creating. Bye.